For every era, basketball crowns a savior. In the 1980s, it was Magic and Bird. In the 90s, Michael Jordan soared so high that even non-fans tuned in just to witness flight. And now, in 2025, women's hoops has its own once-in-a-generation lightning bolt. Caitlin Clark. She did not arrive politely. She arrived like a comet, sling-shotting 30-foot bombs in college, shattering scoring records that were supposed to stand another decade, and doing it all with a trademark swagger and a smile that made little kids in Iowa City believe anything was possible. But here's the plot twist nobody saw coming. She stepped out of the safe orbit of college stardom and chose the WNBA, a league that needed her more than she needed them. And instead of being greeted by a red carpet parade of gratitude, she got body checks, unwhistled elbows, side-eye interviews, and a tidal wave of jealousy. Today's episode is not gentle analysis. It's a love letter from fans who know the truth. Caitlin Clark is single-handedly dragging this league into prime-time viewership, up 170% on ESPN this season, The Wall Street Journal. Yet the very ecosystem she's rescuing treats her like an unwelcome outsider. So buckle up. This is Caitlin Clark versus the world. How a superstar who said yes to the WNBA is being hacked, harassed, and hung out to dry, while we, the fans, refuse to stay silent. Close your eyes and rewind 2 years. The average sports viewer couldn't name 3 WNBA teams in order, and women's college games rarely cracked national network prime slots. Then came Clark's sophomore explosion. 41 points on UConn, back-to-back buzzer beaters in the NCAA regional, fingers thrown skyward before the ball even splashed. Highlights ricocheted across social media at warp speed. You could scroll Twitter at 2 a.m. and still stumble on a Caitlin step-back montage set to Drake. Her passes. Thread the needle lasers that made commentators gasp mid-sentence. Her range. Logo land. Her charisma. Kid in a driveway who never lost the joy. In those college arenas you could feel the air shift. Average attendance ballooned from 4,000 to sellouts. Scalpers hawked tickets like Final Four gold. By senior year, she was a human economic engine. Restaurants collateral, Uber surges, campus bookstores bleeding Clark jerseys from every rack. And yet she could have stayed in that comfort zone, continued stacking nil deals worth millions, rewriting NCAA ledgers, cushioning her body for one more collegiate ride. She could have taken the EuroLeague payday or sat out a year prepping for Paris. But she didn't. She looked at a league that had plateaued, the WNBA eking out modest TV numbers, franchises folding, players supplementing incomes overseas, and she said, let's go fix it. Let's push the women's game where it belongs. That decision alone should have bought her goodwill for life. Instead, it sprayed gasoline on rivalries older than she was and exposed fractures the league never addressed. Draft night was a coronation. Indianapolis exploded. Fever jerseys sold out in 48 hours. Ticket packages that used to gather dust on Ticketmaster were suddenly unavailable before lunchtime. Indy Star ran front-page blurbs usually reserved for Colts kickers. National networks scrambled. ESPN flexed schedules, bumping baseball because Caitlin's first pro tip-off had more pregame buzz than some NBA conference finals. The Fever's road games became traveling carnivals, arenas that had half-curtained upper bowls before now opened every seat, then still turned people away. And yet from her very first quarter as a pro, you saw the difference. A bone-rattling hip check 2 steps after releasing a pass, no whistle. A shoulder pinned into the stanchion, defender smirking, refs jogging back up court. Announcers called it, "Welcome to the league physicality." Fans called it what it was. Cheap shots, plain and simple. Within a month, Clark's bruises looked like a painter's palette. Ask any Fever trainer. Ice baths became non-negotiables, ankles taped twice as thick. Headlines should have read, "League protects Golden Goose." Instead, they read, "Rookies must toughen up." Yet the numbers kept climbing. Average viewership 1.2 million per game, triple last year's slot, The Wall Street Journal. Merchandise warehouses shipped new Clark stock every Friday and still couldn't keep pace. If the WNBA were a stock, her rookie jersey reveal was the bullish signal. Still, more fouls, more silence. Which begs the question, why? Some players cloak their jabs behind professionalism. She's good for the game, but others don't bother. One veteran forward flat out told a podcast she was tired of all the Clark hype, and that rookies gotta earn their stripes the hard way. Fine. Earn stripes. But forearms to the face? Cue the footage. June 14th versus Chicago. Clark lifts for a corner three, defender barrels through, shoulder to solar plexus, no call. Replay shows contact so blatant that even the opposing commentary team gasps. Social media erupts. Hashtag protect Caitlin trends before final buzzer. Next week, New York. After a whistle, Clark jogs toward the huddle. Boom. A blindside shove knocks her sideways. Announcers attempt to pivot. Physical brand of basketball. Fans aren't fooled. Let's zoom out. Why the animosity? Part jealousy. Part economics. Part generational shift. Veterans who've grinded overseas 6 months a year see a 23-year-old waltz in with endorsements they could only dream of. They're protective of what little spotlight the league once shared. Clark unintentionally monopolizes it. There's also the racial subtext the Wall Street Journal opinion column laid bare. Clark is white in a league that's 80% black, and the media's obsession with her has reopened old wounds about who gets marketed, who gets corporate dollars, and whose stories we celebrate. The Wall Street Journal. Some veterans feel they've carried the league unpaid and unnoticed. Now America tunes in for the new girl with the logo range. Those feelings are real. But assaulting a peer to express frustration? Never acceptable. And the refs, tasked with keeping the product fair, seem content to swallow whistles whenever number 22 is on the receiving end. Fans notice. We freeze frame the contact, we share it frame by frame on TikTok, and each replay chips away at the league's credibility. Officiating is the backbone of any league. The NBA learned this the hard way with 2000's referee scandals, and they overcorrected with transparency reports. The WNBA, sadly, lags behind. Multiple national writers have chronicled let them play leniency when Clark is involved. The Wall Street Journal. Officials claim they don't want to over-police competitive fire. Translation: they're terrified of appearing biased toward the darling rookie. But in refusing to call the obvious, they've become biased against her, and by extension, against the fans who tune in to watch basketball, not mixed martial arts. Look at injury risk. Orthopedic specialists will tell you that repeated hip checks while airborne multiply concussion odds. Clark has already spent more time in the blue light therapy chamber this rookie year than she did in 4 collegiate seasons. Blow the whistle and you reset. Swallow it, and the next defender pushes limits further. That's the slippery slope we're on. The irony? Protecting stars is good business. The NBA wrote that playbook. If LeBron bleeds ratings, you safeguard him. Not coddle. Simply enforce the rulebook with consistency. Fans complain about superstar calls, yet ratings tell the tale. We still tune in. So why can't the W operate under the same logic? League executives whisper about letting the game have edge, fearing men's sports fans will dismiss women's hoops if whistles blow every possession. Newsflash: those men aren't watching anyway. The viewers are the families, the new demographics Clark attracted. Young girls, dads, moms, casual NBA fans curious about a phenomenon. They turn off when their hero gets suplexed without consequence. Until whistles match the actual rulebook, resentment grows. And so does the injury report. Let's follow the dollar trail, because numbers never lie. League sponsorships. 2 days after Clark's Fever debut, a Fortune 100 telecom locked a mid-season jersey patch deal rumored at $5 million, the richest in team history. Those funds trickle into every player's paycheck via revenue sharing. Broadcast rights. ESPN renegotiated its 2026 package, doubling the annual payout to over $200 million. And yes, network insiders admit they ran Caitlin Clark impact simulations before signing the Wall Street Journal. Expansion fees. New Cleveland, Detroit, and Philly franchises will each deposit $250 million into league coffers by 2030, 5 times what Golden State's Valkyries paid 2 seasons ago. The Wall Street Journal. Those valuations skyrocketed because owners see Clark driving eyeballs, and they're betting her prime lasts a decade. Ticketing. The Fever sold out their entire home slate before July. Secondary markets flipped $40 seats for $350, unheard of since Diana Taurasi's rookie year, and that was the finals. Demographics. Ratings researchers note that Clark didn't just grow viewership, She changed it, pulling in more 18 to 34 men, more families, more casual hoops heads who previously spent June evenings on MLB Network, The Wall Street Journal. If any other employee boosted an organization's revenue 3x, the board would protect them with private security and spa days. Instead, the WNBA lets players clobber its golden goose on national TV. Yes, basketball is a contact sport. Yes, rookies must adjust. But ask yourself, would NFL refs allow repeated late headshots on Patrick Mahomes? Would MLB umpires shrug at pitchers buzzing Shohei Ohtani's skull every at-bat? Of course not. Because stars sell tickets, and leagues protect investments. 3 days ago, the Wall Street Journal dropped an opinion grenade, the WNBA and Caitlin Clark civil rights. The headline alone split Twitter. Critics called the analogy hyperbolic. Supporters said the stark language was overdue. The Wall Street Journal. The column's thesis: if the league will not protect its biggest draw, whose very presence has become a lightning rod for race-tinged hostility, then external institutions, read, sponsors, lawmakers, may step in. Civil rights talk isn't literal Jim Crow. It's about a workplace failing to provide fair conditions for its most visible employee. Detractors argue every rookie endures hacks. But the evidence suggests a pattern. Hard fouls escalate when Clark's scoring climbs. Refs hold whistles even as ratings graphs jump. That disparity, layered on top of racial anxiety, becomes social tinder. Clark herself handles questions with grace. She credits black women for building the league, acknowledges her privilege, and uses interviews to uplift teammates. Yet her humility hasn't diffused the vitriol. And here's the cautionary tale. America loves a star, but America also loves to tear stars down. If the narrative mutates from Clark saves the league to league sacrifices Clark on the altar of jealousy, the sponsors will recoil, the casual fans will bail, and 2 decades of progress could evaporate. That's not hyperbole, it's history repeated. We're not credentialed media. We're not league execs running balance sheets. We're the ones refinancing family budgets to buy 4 seats in row K because our daughter dribbles a size 6 ball in the driveway and yells, "Caitlin range," before launching from the garden hose. We're the ones streaming Tuesday Night Fever games on sketchy hotel Wi-Fi, refreshing box scores at midnight, clipping highlights for TikTok comp reels that hit 2 million views overnight. We see the stats, but we also see the bruises. The purple swatches sneaking above her compression sleeve, the way she winces walking up huddles, the extra second she spends shaking off a hip stinger before the second half. We also see the pettiness, a rival guard rolling eyes on a Mike D up segment, a power forward posting "media darling" memes hours after delivering a flagrant. We see teammates sprinting to lift Clark off the floor while some opponents stroll away smirking. And we're not fooled when refs jog by. We played rec league. We know what a hack looks like. We know a no-call when we see it. The slow-motion angles confirm our gut. So what do? We buy more jerseys. We show up louder. We flood comment sections with #ProtectCaitlin. Because if the league won't listen to bruises, maybe it'll listen to wallets. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert sits at an intersection. Keep business booming or let jealousy drive the narrative. This is not about tilting whistles for Clark. It's about calling the game straight. Consistency breeds respect. Inconsistency breeds conspiracy. Option A. Issue top-down guidance. Flagrants get reviewed, repeat offenders suspended, refs graded publicly. Protect the product. Option B. Maintain the Wild West, watch star injuries pile up, endure a PR crisis every Monday morning. History favors Option A. When the NBA instituted the hand check crackdown in 2004, scoring jumped and ratings soared. Purists moaned. Dollars cheered. Same outcome here. Cleaner game, longer careers, happier sponsors. The league must also tackle wage optics. Clark earned less than $80,000 in base salary her rookie year while printing millions in league revenue. The Wall Street Journal. CBA renegotiations loom. If the bosses want to avoid a lockout, they'll adjust rookie scale, share revenue more fairly, and maybe create a designated franchise player cap exception like the NBA's. Every franchise owner now rides the Clark wave. Higher valuations, record sponsors. They owe her more than a thank you tweet. They owe her workplace safety and a livable wage, both for her and the vets whose jealousy stems from decades of undercompensation. So here's where the fan army comes in. Voices matter. Wallets matter more. Buy tickets, but only from teams that commit to fair play. If a squad's highlight reel is 80% flagrant hacks, maybe skip that road trip. Flood league socials with #ProtectCaitlin whenever you see a no-call clip. The algorithm is the new boo bird. Demand transparency. Write local sports editors, email networks, tag sponsors. Ask why whistle reports aren't public. Celebrate clean competitors. When a rival guard plays tough but fair, amplify that. Positivity rewards good actors. Educate casual fans. Share stats. They respect data. Remind them that Clark now accounts for roughly 1/4 of all league revenue streams per analyst estimates, The Wall Street Journal. Some will roll eyes. It's just sports. But sport is culture in microcosm. How we treat our heroes echoes how we treat pioneers in boardrooms and classrooms. If a woman can break scoring barriers yet still be shoved aside, what chance does any of us have in quieter battles? Caitlin Clark is not seeking sainthood. She prefers let the game speak. But history rarely gives icons the luxury of silence. Jackie Robinson didn't want to be the face of integration. He wanted to play ball. Serena Williams didn't request to carry a movement. She wanted to dominate baseline rallies. Yet greatness draws gravity. The WNBA begged for mainstream relevance, and the universe delivered a 6-foot phenom who rains logo threes and sells out arenas from Brooklyn to Seattle. Now the league must decide: nurture the gift or squander it in pettiness. 20 years from now, highlight reels will still loop that signature hopback into a 32-footer. The question is whether those clips will air on a thriving 18-team league with blockbuster TV rights, or in a nostalgic documentary about what could have been. We, the fans, have chosen our side. We stand with number 22. We stand with any star who elevates the women's game yet gets hammered for daring to shine. Because when a player drags an entire industry into brighter light, the least that industry can do is keep the bulbs lit. So click, subscribe, smash like, and drop #ProtectCaitlin in the comments. Not for algorithm vanity, but as a digital roar that echoes through league offices and referee caucuses. Let them feel the tremor. This has been Court Queens, where we guard the throne of women's basketball and defend the queens who wear the crown. See you next game night. Caitlin Clark never asked to inherit a movement, but fate rarely offers a polite RSVP. She was a kid from West Des Moines who learned to beat the sunrise to the gym, who shelled driveway asphalt with so many makes that the free throw line faded into chalky ghost prints, who told a third-grade teacher, dead serious, that one day she'd shoot farther than anybody alive. What she did not say was, "I'll become the hinge on which an entire professional league swings." Yet here we are. And because that hinge is creaking under jealousy, indifference, and plain old inertia, we, fans, families, sponsors, media nerds on midnight timelines, find ourselves drafted into a team we never expected to join. We're the unofficial stewards of the WNBA's next decade. So, let's zoom out further than highlight reels and bruised stat lines. Picture a girl in Cairo bouncing a ball against a crumbling courtyard wall. Picture a teenager in Manila streaming fever games on a cracked phone screen at 4 a.m., earbuds in so her parents don't wake. Picture suburban dads in Indiana, BMX bikers in Barcelona, aunties in Lagos. People who had never once planned Thursday nights around women's basketball until Caitlin's range pierced their algorithmic bubble. When you protect Clark, you protect their entry point too. You secure the hopes of kids who now choose number 22 jerseys over number 23 LeBron replicas at the mall. Protecting a star, however, isn't charity. It's enlightened self-interest. Corporate America already understands this. Since Clark's debut, more Fortune 500 ad dollars have chased WNBA airtime than in the league's prior 10 years combined. Streaming services court documentary rights. Sneaker companies sketch signature silhouettes. Video game studios fast-track WNBA career modes. And every contract negotiation includes one secret slide: projected upside if Clark remains healthy and happy. Remove that assumption and the slide, and many of those deals disappear. Remember, too, that one star's safety doesn't eclipse the league's broader mission of equity. Quite the opposite. The better Clark's spotlight gleams, the more she can redirect it. Her post-game shoutouts to Aya Wilson, her public praise of Natasha Cloud's social justice leadership, her insistence that black women built this league, do not go unheard. They echo through classrooms, boardrooms, comment threads. If she's sidelined by preventable injury or ground down by unchecked hostility, that megaphone dims, and so does the platform for every player she tries to uplift. There is another less talked about stakeholder: the future athlete who does not make it big. Hundreds of college seniors will chase 12 roster spots each year and land short. Their fallback options, overseas stints, starter-level marketing jobs, grad school loans, will feel less daunting or more promising depending on how robust the WNBA economy becomes. A thriving, sponsor-magnet league means more off-court internships, more hometown camps, more NIL-type micro-deals even for bench players. Clark's draw inflates the entire financial balloon. Letting that balloon deflate because egos bruise too easily would be malpractice. So what does real support look like from the seats we occupy? Normalize outrage. Share the dirty screen recordings of missed flagrants until officials can't scroll LinkedIn without seeing them. Outrage has a half-life. Keep recharging the isotope. Reward excellence. When veterans play Clark tough and fair, celebrate them louder. Show kids that physicality and respect can coexist. Vote with remotes. Nielsen still rules budgets. If a network benches a Fever broadcast for filler content, spike their social mentions. Ratings rescued the UFC, revived Formula One, and they can fortify women's hoops. Local-level evangelism. Lobby high school athletic directors to host WNBA nights. Get local sports bars to dedicate one screen to every Fever road game. Grassroots isn't glamorous, but it's how soccer overtook hockey in U.S. youth registrations. Hold sponsors to task. Tweet at that cell phone giant with the jersey patch. Love your partnership. Will you advocate league-wide player safety standards? Brand managers fear misalignment. Use that fear for good. League offices may bristle at the noise, but disruption is sometimes the only language institutions answer quickly. We've seen it. Social media pressure pushed the NWSL to overhaul abuse reporting. It forced the NCAA to upgrade women's tournament weight rooms overnight. The WNBA can either preempt the storm or be swept by it. Let's dream bigger, though. Imagine a 2035 WNBA season opener. 18 franchises, union-negotiated revenue shares that dwarf today's NBA rookie scale, packed doubleheaders simulcast in Mandarin and Spanish. Imagine commentators telling rookies, "You stand on Caitlin Clark's shoulders, and she stood on Taurasi's, who stood on Cheryl Swoop's." That lineage only stays unbroken if we treat today's icons like the precious, finite resources they are. And do not confuse protection with pedestal worship. Clark will miss heat checks, turn the ball over, jar at refs, maybe even commit her own flagrant one day. That humanity is the point. We want her upright and competing so we can debate shot selection, not send get-well-soon flowers. We want rivalries built on skill gaps, not medical report gaps. Finally, let's speak directly to Caitlin, because she'll stumble upon this video at 2 a.m. on a red-eye west. You owe us nothing. The miracle of fandom is that gratitude flows upstream. You already repaid us with every no-look dime, every shot fired from the city logo, every post-game hug to a kid clutching a Sharpie and shaking. We, in turn, owe you vigilance. Eyes on every dangerous screen, voices on every muted whistle, applause when you falter and get back up because resiliency is part of the artistry. 20 years from now, highlight reels will still loop that signature hopback into a 32-footer. Feet scissoring mid-air, shoulders square, net vaporized before gravity consults a release. The question is whether those clips will premiere during halftime of a thriving, multi-billion-dollar WNBA or in a wistful documentary about unrealized potential. We decide that. So smash, like, hammer, subscribe, and flood the comments with #ProtectCaitlin, not as algorithm candy but as a digital banner unfurled inside every arena tunnel. Let refs see it when they jog out. Let rival vets see it when they doom-scroll hotel Wi-Fi. Let league brass see it when sponsorship decks arrive stamped with social impact engagement. This is Court Queens, where we track every storyline, guard every crown, and refuse to let the game's brightest torch be snuffed by envy or apathy. Thanks for riding with us on this courtside crusade. We'll keep the receipts, the highlights, and the pressure, until the future of women's basketball isn't just safe, it's unstoppable.